has had an amazing freshman season, 11 games in, leading the nation in scoring at over 23 points per game.
Duke, one of 7 remaining unbeaten teams. They are 11-0. They are 4-0 against ranked opponents. The Red Raiders are 8-3, 0-3 against ranked opponents on the season. And we'd like to welcome those of you just joining us. We are 1 possession into this game. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, Duke and Texas Tech. A good defensive play by the Blue Devils to force a turnover at one end, but then Cameron DeBoozer gives it back at the other end. And LaJuan Watts, coming off the game of his life earlier this week, banks it in to give the Red Raiders the early lead as we check the Duke starting lineup. Nicholas Jimenez starting his 4th consecutive game. Obviously, Cameron DeBoozer demanding so much attention, the leading scorer in the nation.
And one of the things Texas Tech is going to have to do against Cameron DeBoozer, they're going to have to make him guard on the defensive end.
Jimenez open, misses the 3. And down with a rebound is Watts. We mentioned the game of his life, 36 against Northern Colorado on Tuesday, and he's got the first 2 baskets in this one.
That 36 was on 12 of 13 from the floor, and one thing you have to watch out with LaJuan Watts, he's got a great shot fake, and he uses it.
He can shoot the 3. He's a good passer as well. Texas Tech depleted in the front court. A number of injuries. Toppin is really their only true size and shot blocker, but a good defensive play by Watts.
Texas Tech wanted to come out aggressive on the defensive end, and they have.
And Christian Anderson buries a 3, and what a start for Grant McCaslin's team. Right out of the gates, less than 2 minutes in, Red Raider fans are on their feet here in New York. Here's Caleb Foster on the drive. Can't finish it. Watts the rebound.
And rebounding going to be a big factor in this game. Texas Tech, an excellent offensive rebounding team because of JT Toppin. There are those shot fakes from Watts.
And he lays it in with the left. And how about a 9-0 start? And John Shire needs a timeout. 2:16 in. All Red Raiders. We're back in 30. Welcome back to the Garden here in New York. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, LaJuan Watts, and Texas Tech off to a sensational start at both ends of the floor, Jay.
Well, Texas Tech clearly came ready for a fight in this game, especially LaJuan Watts. He's off to a great start. But it's been their defense that has set the tone, something that Grant McCaslin, their head coach, has been on this team about to become a better, more communicative defensive team. But they've been in gaps, they've been alert, they've communicated early.
They've allowed 90 or more points in each of their last 2 games, and almost all of the focus from McCaslin has been at the defensive end as Nicholas Jimenez knocks down a 3 to get the Blue Devils on the board.
Jimenez coming off a game against Lipscomb where he did not score. He's been starting the last several games when he took over for Dame Sarr.
Boozer doesn't buy the fakes and knocks it away. Gumba thought about it, and he is shooting the 3 every now and again this year. Jimenez with a fake, a drive, and a lay-in, and he's got all 5 for Duke.
Boy, really good shot fake by Jimenez out of the left corner. Got Tyree Bryan off the floor and off balance, then drove it with the right hand. Really smart play by the freshman.
At the point for the Red Raiders with the ball, Christian Anderson, one of the best point guards in the country, but they harassed him out near midcourt, and he turns it over.
They just blitzed him off the ball screen, made him back up, but a terrific shot fake and right around Tyree Bryan to get all the way to the rim. When Duke keeps its floor spacing, it's really hard to help on those kind of drives when the ball moves.
Duke this year has been a very good offensive team and a sensational defensive team. Isaiah Evans misses the three. Texas Tech better at the offensive end so far this season than at the defensive end. In off the bench for the Red Raiders, freshman Jalen Petty out of Seattle. Broke his nose a couple of weeks ago. That's why he's got that mask on. And a foul on Hemenya as Watts drew the foul on his way to the rim. John Shire in his 4th year as the head coach at his alma mater and led him into the Final Four last year. The fastest ACC coach ever to get to 100 victories. Only took him 122 games.
Vic Bubas had been the fastest coach at Duke in the 1960s. I actually thought that Bill Guthridge had been the fastest. He was right up there, but not as many as Bubas had.
How about J.T. Toppin? He is going to have to work really hard to get the shots that he wants in this game tonight.
They use him in a lot of screen roll situations, and he's a great roller. He and Christian Anderson work a lot together in pick and roll situations. But you know that J.T. Toppin wants to get back to that left hand at every opportunity.
Boozer swings it into the corner. A wide open Foster can't get it to go.
It's amazing how many opportunities Cameron Boozer opens up for his teammates. He's the leading assist guy for Duke. Now he's switched off on Christian Anderson.
Anderson averaging 7.5 assists per game, 4th in the nation. Petty slithers into the paint. I don't know if that was a pass or a shot, but it worked out fine for Toppin.
That's a Derek Wittenberg assist. Wittenberg still insists that that was a pass to Lorenzo Charles.
8-point lead, Texas Tech. Fumbled away by Evans. Duke was plagued by turnovers in the first half of their game against Lipscomb a few days ago before they recovered to put them away in the second half. Anderson tipped away by Malik Brown. One of the best defensive players in the nation.
Good pass.
Watts open. In and out. Boozer the rebound.
Well, you get 2 on the ball, and Christian Anderson passes out of it so effectively.
Boozer guarded by Toppin. And a foul. One of the huge keys for the Red Raiders is to keep Toppin out of foul trouble tonight. The more he guards Boozer, the tougher that is going to be. Jay's going to break down Cameron Boozer when we come back.
Boozer get around. He goes around a secondary defender with a great Euro step. Here at the end of the Florida game, a similar play. Isaiah Evans going to set a ball screen. This time they're going to blitz on Cameron Boozer, and Isaiah Evans just slips out and winds up getting the open 3 that ultimately turned out to be the game winner against the defending national champions. So difficult to corral Cameron Boozer because he can post. That was a pro foul that he just drew on J.T. Toppin along the left side. Toppin had his right hand on him, just went right into it and was able to draw that foul. Grant McCaslin didn't like it, but just a really smart play from Cameron Boozer.
And you saw the numbers that Boozer has put up in the 4 ranked games in which Duke has played this year. All of them wins. Again, one of only 7 undefeated teams, 4 wins over ranked teams. Another thing that Boozer does well is get to the line and shoots them pretty well, 79%. And there's a look at that foul that he drew.
Yeah, you can have an arm bar in the back of a post man, but once they face up, you got to take it off. And Boozer just really intelligently just went right into that arm to draw a cheap foul and get 2 free throws out of it.
And fouls on Toppin are a huge key to this game because of the injuries that we alluded to. Texas Tech is really, really thin up front with Luke Bamboye, Mario Aquintook, and Josiah Mosley, all of whom would figure into the front court rotation, all of them out with injuries. Petty no, and Brown down with a rebound for the Blue Devils.
Anytime Boozer switches, Duke switches 1 through 4. They need to really go ball screen on him and put him in a position to have to guard.
And Grant McCaslin is really getting into his team right now with the defensive end. And this has been his frustration, is their defense recently. His 3rd season as the head coach in Lubbock took him to the Elite 8 last year before they lost a close game to the eventual national champions, the Florida Gators. Wide open 3, and Dame Sarr who has been struggling this season. No longer a starter for this Duke team, but still a player with a lot of upside. He knocks down a long jumper.
Well, anytime Boozer gets double teamed, and he did right there, Duke wants to pass out of it. But how you beat a double team is pass out of it twice.
Boy,
and that's what they did to get it to Sarr.
Sarr very active defensively as well. Open three for Donovan Atwell won't go. He is a really good three-point shooter. Texas Tech as a team shoots the three well. Caden Boozer will not finish it, but he does draw the foul and will head to the line.
Well, one thing you can't do against Texas Tech is let Donovan Atwell get a catch and shoot. The lefty has made 35 threes on the season, and he's only made 41 field goals, but 35 of them are threes. You got to make him put the ball on the deck.
So Caden Boozer at the line. Twin brother of Cameron. 19 minutes per game for Caden Boozer, averaging about 6 points, almost 4 assists per game. Some games Caleb Foster plays more, some Caden Boozer plays more. It's a pretty tight 9-man rotation that John Shire has.
And they'll play Foster and Caden Boozer play some minutes together, and that allows Caleb Foster to operate more as a scorer, which is more his natural position.
So Duke has gotten back into it after the Red Raiders bolted out to a 9-0 lead to start the game. This is Anderson, his second year in the program, and again 7.5 assists per game, and he can score it as well. Misses that three. Sarr down with the rebound.
Those are shots that he normally makes. He's an excellent contested jump shooter. And he averages, you were saying, averages close to 8 assists a game, but also 19 points.
Right. Sarr on the drive. Boozer got a finger on it, but back comes Toppin.
Well, Texas Tech is going to have to gang rebound on the defensive end in this game.
Duke has much better rebounding numbers on the season than the Red Raiders do, and it makes sense. Duke has great positional size. Everybody who plays at least 6'4". Watts again loves to back his man down, and he does it again.
Well, especially when he has a size advantage. At 21 against Illinois, had a terrific game against LSU with a double-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds. He can play.
He's got a lot of game. He can pass out of the post as well. The big guys on both teams, good passers. There's Boozer finding Sarr, and way short on the corner three. Knocked away by Brown. As we mentioned, one of the best defenders in college basketball at any position. Brown with the offensive rebound. Caden Boozer misses a three. And Watts leads him the other way.
Boy, Malik Brown has amazing hands.
Toppin draws the foul to take us to the under-12 media timeout. Jay broke down Cameron Boozer for you. He'll do the same to J.T. Toppin when we come out of this break. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Kay, the official partner of couples who love the game, and Avatar Fire and Ash. Now
pick and roll as a screen roller, and oftentimes with Christian Anderson, sets the screen and opens up. LSU here in drop coverage. He gets the pocket pass and right down the middle of the lane in that slot ball screen action. Then they run it again, this time with a different angle to send Christian Anderson to his left. And Anderson, when he comes off, if you're in drop, he is excellent at just pulling up and knocking down these shots. He's a 42% three-point shooter. 4th in the nation in assists, so he can find Toppin on the roll. But excellent at finding scoring opportunities, very patient. He and J.T. Toppin are an excellent duo in screen and roll, and I think you're going to see a lot of that in this game against Duke.
And as you can see, just monster numbers in 2 of the 3 games against ranked opponents, Illinois and Arkansas, although Texas Tech lost both of those games. This is a young guy who was not even a starter in high school. He didn't even play varsity until his junior year. Just kind of a late, it took him a while to kind of grow into his body and gather in that coordination. I'm still working on it, by the way. I'm 58. But he goes to New Mexico for a year, then comes last year, and what does he do? He's the Big 12 Player of the Year a season ago, a consensus second team All-American, and just a guy who can help you win games, Jay, so many different ways.
Well, the one area that's his kryptonite right now is free throw shooting. I mean, he shoots under 50% from the foul line. That means you just can't allow him layups or dunks. You have to foul him and make him earn it from the free throw line. And Texas Tech, not a great free throw shooting team overall. They don't get there often, and they don't make them as often as they should when they get there.
Just under 67% as a team on the season. Foster back in there for Duke. Evans has returned as well.
There's some tough matchups.
Boozer on the bench right now. Foster for three. And he is having a nice bounce back year in this his junior season after last year was a struggle for him through much of the year.
Made the biggest bucket in the Breslin Center against Michigan State. When Duke won that game against the Spartans, that three he hit was huge.
Anderson steps back, now has Patrick Gungba the second on him. Topping inside, lays it in.
He is so quick off the floor. Once JT Toppin catches the ball, he is going to get to that left hand no matter what.
It is amazing when you watch game after game of the Red Raiders how hard they work sometimes to get him to use the right hand and how skilled he is at getting back to the right shoulder using the left hand. Here's a mismatch in the post. Gungba up and in.
That's going to be so difficult for Lawan Watts to have to guard. They're not sending a double. And you know that Patrick Gungba is going to go after him at every opportunity.
Watts gives you everything he has, but he is still undersized to play the four-man. But again, because of the injuries, they just don't have many options up front. Watts will put up the three. Not close, and here come the Blue Devils.
Not a very good offensive possession right there for Texas Tech, but Watts is going to have to front Gungba when he gets down in the post. But it's hard to front him for that long because he can move you up the lane. They can just throw over the top.
Harris keeps it in bounds. Again, Gungba and Watts with the shot clock at 10. Darren Harris knocks down to three, and Duke has its first lead of the night. And Grant McCaslin wants a timeout. It was 9-0 Red Raiders at the start, but Jay, the Blue Devils have come back to go in front.
Well, Duke has had some stops, but they're also finding the open man. Patrick Gungba, an excellent passer, and just a little late getting to Darren Harris. He rips the three.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden here in New York City. The Duke Blue Devils, if they can, always like to play a game on this Saturday right before Christmas up here in New York. So many Duke alums, and it is largely a Duke crowd here at the Garden. They were down 9-0. They have gotten hot. The Blue Devils are making threes. And Grant McCaslin, as we have seen him talk about on a couple of occasions in recent days, Jay, he is once again frustrated with some of the things his team is doing defensively.
Some of it's communication, some of it's getting caught in no man's land and not recovering to shooters. They gave up a three to Dame Sarr after a double, gave up another three to Darren Harris right there on a pass out from Patrick Gungba. Duke has really good passing big guys.
We had a chance to speak with both coaches at their respective shoot-arounds today, and when we spoke with Grant McCaslin, he used words over and over again like communicate, connected, compete, energy. It was not a lot about shot making and that sort of thing. It was about, and you've talked about a number of them already, it was about some of the things that have to improve. It's not a lack of talent. It's about some of the attention to detail that has to improve in his mind at the defensive end.
Well, I don't think Grant McCaslin is worried about Texas Tech's ability to score, but they've got to get stops to be an elite team.
Toppin this time up and in with the right.
Well, you don't send a double at him. He's a difficult matchup in a back down. He's so athletic, and that motor his never stops revving.
Toppin on Boozer right now. Hemenya. Quick 5 points in the first 2-3 minutes of the game, but it misses that 3.
So far, the Texas Tech guards have done a nice job of helping the big guys out on the glass. They're sending all 5 to the defensive glass.
We have only seen 6 players on the floor in this game for Texas Tech. And is it possible, Jay, as we get another look at the last Toppin bucket, is it possible that they will only use 6 guys tonight?
They only used 6 against Arkansas.
Yep.
They've done it before. I think it depends on how the game goes with regard to fouls, and you certainly don't want to see anybody twist an ankle or anything, but you always have to be concerned about that. But yeah, you could see him go with 6.
Toppin with a screen and a re-screen. Watts with a shot fake. Boozer doesn't bite. Shot clock at 5. Anderson. Boozer the rebound.
But Boozer's so hard to move because his low base is so strong.
His dad Carlos is here in attendance watching his sons play, Cameron and Caden. And there's Cam Boozer banking it in, so skilled in the post as well.
He's got an amazing feel for the defense. With his back to the basket, he can feel where you are, and he's got counter moves to go with his go-to moves.
Watts into Toppin, knocked away by Gungba, and JT Toppin just picked up his 2nd foul.
Well, I thought Gungba fouled Toppin going over the top to knock that ball away. He reached right over his right shoulder. Well, Cameron Boozer is an absolute load to deal with in the open side screen and roll. Doesn't really roll, just gets it and faces up, then goes to a back down and goes right to that right hand off the glass. Beautiful. Rick Gungba, look, beautiful pass in there, but Gungba has his arm wrapped around his waist and is reaching over the top of him. There's no question that was a foul. It just went uncalled, and knocking that ball away with the foul led to JT Toppin picking up a foul. That's the kind of thing that drives a coach like Grant McCasland crazy. He's like, wait a minute, you call that, my guy doesn't pick up his 2nd. Like, what are you doing? That kind of thing.
And Grant McCasland came out on the court as that timeout was beginning, and it wasn't to address any of his players. It was to talk to one of the officials about, hey, you got to keep an eye on this. He had my guy wrapped up.
And now he picked up his 3rd right there, unless they say he grabbed him.
And it is on Toppin, and he has 3 in the first half when
Grant McCasland is asking for them to look at a hook and hold. He's saying they pulled my guy down. Even if they didn't, take a look at it, because maybe you get this foul wiped off.
Right. They have no viable option behind him in the middle in terms of scoring and shot blocking and so many different things. He is one of the best players in the country, and they are, as we have mentioned, riddled with injuries in the front court right now. They need to keep him on the floor. And now Bert Smith giving John Shire an explanation.
Now this goes down as an appeal, not a challenge. So if this appeal isn't successful, then Texas Tech loses a timeout.
Right, but this is different from the challenge in terms of, is it out of bounds or not? He still retains the challenge, but you can understand why Grant McCasland, given the significance, wants them to look at this. Here's Bert Smith. So let's watch Gungba and Toppin.
Yeah, I think this is going to stand. It didn't look like he was overtly pulled down.
You can see Toppin, as soon as he hits the court, pointing to his left arm.
I mean, they definitely got tangled up, but is this the kind of thing where they're going to say, no, he was pulled down, or no, his momentum was when he was leaning on him? That justifies the foul call.
And as you said, what Grant McCasland is hoping for is they could assess a flagrant 1 on Gungba for a hook and hold and remove the personal on Toppin.
Well, he's got him by the arm there. So you see, this angle was a better one to see what Gungba did with his left arm.
Toppin immediately, as you can see, pointing at his left arm, saying he pulled me down. Watch the right arm of Gungba on the left arm of Toppin.
I mean, whatever it comes out, it was awfully aggressive on the part of JT Toppin with those 2 fouls.
Yep.
To get in this situation. He'd already had him a step and a half off the lane. That's job done.
I think you can make a case that they have a case, but I just don't know if they will overturn it. But
it was definitely smart to appeal it.
Yes.
Because JT Toppin is so important in this game. Heck, he's 4 of 5, has 9 points. But this is a huge call right here.
And the officials have now come away from the monitor, and the 3 of them are discussing it. Did Toppin force Gungba down to the court, or did Gungba pull Toppin down to the court? Needless to say, a call that will have a huge influence on this game tonight.
No question. They're talking about an awfully long time if it's just to confirm the call.
Yeah, it makes you think that maybe this appeal is going to work out for Grant McCasland, given how long this discussion is going.
Maybe it's what time are you leaving tomorrow? You want to share a cab? Should we cab or Uber?
Yeah. Do you pre-book your Ubers, or do you just do it live?
I pre-book. They're excellent.
I mean, this is one of the best players in the country, and they have no size behind him. Nobody over 6'6" behind him. When you've got to deal with guys like Boozer and Gungba and Brown. Well, it looks like we had a resolution, and now one official is going to each huddle. Bert Smith will give us the news. From the reaction of the coaches, it looks like this is going Texas Tech's way. John Shire is not happy right now, but the conversation with Grant McCasland was a very quick one. It certainly looks like this appeal is successful, Jim. And now Chance Moore, one of the officials, coming over in our direction. So they are taking the personal foul away from Toppin and giving Gungba a flagrant one for the hook and hold, for pulling him down to the court. I don't know about your feeling. I think they got that right. I do think that Gungba pulled him down.
I do too. Yeah. But it's the only option they have is to call that a flagrant one.
Yeah.
So that's 2 shots and the ball for Texas Tech. I think it's what happened with both arms, but especially that angle really shows what happened with the left arm of Patrick Gungba.
So the biggest part of this is obviously that there's no third foul anymore on Toppin. And now you got to believe that Grant McCasland said to him, hey man, need you on the court. Be really, really careful the next 7:46.
Yeah, really smart by Grant McCasland to appeal that for that very reason. Just to get that foul taken off was reward enough. Because if JT Toppin would have to sit with 3 fouls, that really limits Texas Tech's ability to win this game.
So 2 in the ball, so 1 of 2 for Toppin to tie it up, and the Red Raiders will inbound it in a tie game with 7:45 to go here in the first half.
And really, Duke now, when they have the ball, have to take every opportunity to go right at J.T. Toppin to pick up that third.
And Lawan Watts skillfully draws a foul on Darren Harris. Hey, we got a pair of great games for you tomorrow on ESPN. At 1 Eastern, it'll be NC State and Ole Miss in Greensboro, North Carolina. Then at 3, Cincinnati and Clemson in Greenville, South Carolina. Both games also streaming on the ESPN app. Toppin guarded by Boozer. Anderson misses a 3.
He's the guy that really has to get going for Texas Tech. He can put up points in a hurry, Christian Anderson.
Here's a guy John Shire would love to see get going on a consistent basis. Isaiah Evans, he is scoreless tonight. A nice pass from Boozer, cross court to Sarr for his second 3 of the game.
Got a technical foul.
On Sarr, I believe. Dame Sarr might have celebrated a little bit too enthusiastically and just got teed up.
He must have said something to Atwell on the way down, or the bench.
So 2 free throws for Atwell.
And John Shire obviously upset with Dame Sarr just for taking away the momentum of that 3.
And it cost him a couple of points.
Cameron Boozer, the best passer on this team. Sarr with a catch and shoot. And Setsay was to the bench. I thought it might have been to Atwell, but he said something to the Texas Tech bench.
He was actually the closest to head coach Grant McCaslin when he turned and said something. Don't know if it was in his direction specifically. Watts. Foster in transition. Spinning. Puts it up and draws a foul.
Caleb Foster smart there, going up against Jalen Petty. He's got a size advantage. Petty's only 6'1". Wearing that mask after breaking his nose a couple weeks ago in practice. So people tend to forget. I mean, Caleb Foster's 6'5". He's got positional size as a point guard.
The longest tenured player in the Duke program. He is a junior. As we get a look now at Leon Horner, a sophomore from Dallas who comes into the game. Petty sits after picking up his second, so Horner becomes the 7th player in the game. Couple of misses by Foster. Everybody's reaching and grabbing for it. And another Texas Tech foul. This one is on Atwell.
Well, you really have to block out Cameron Boozer in that second slot. He's so difficult because he's so strong in his lower body. Difficult to pinch in on him to keep him from wedging you further in and going up over the top and grabbing an offensive rebound.
17 fouls, so 1-1 for Patrick Gungba II, who has taken a big leap forward here in his sophomore season. Getting a lot more minutes, a lot more of an opportunity, but he has earned it. His scoring is 3 times what it was a season ago.
He's leading the Duke team in blocked shots. And I thought he was spectacular in that game against Florida. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks against that massive Gator front line. Right now, Dame Sarr just face guarding Christian Anderson with his size.
Red Raiders started hot, led 9-0, now down by 3. Anderson creating space, bounces it into Toppin, and good defense by Gungba.
Right, having that size on Christian Anderson made a difference.
Hayden Boozer crosses over and lays it in. He looks so comfortable in transition, doesn't he?
When Texas Tech does not score, it's been their transition defense that's hurt them a bit.
Around and out on the 3 attempt there by Toppin. A 20% three-point shooter on the season. Cam Boozer with the left. And Toppin comes up with the loose ball. Watts flying down the court in transition. Got stuck under the rim.
He was looking more for the foul than the score. That was a body-seeking attempt.
Don Shire hollering out a play. Caden to Cameron Boozer. In the corner, Sarr. Got another one! His third three of the game.
Oh, this is the best that Dame Sarr has played this season. He looks so confident.
Watts trying to get around. Cam Boozer kicks it out. Horner off the glass and good. Leon Horner averaging 10 minutes per game, 3 points per game. Banks one in, a much-needed bucket for the Red Raiders.
Well, Grant McCaslin was telling us today at the shoot-around that he's got good scoring instincts.
Boy, I'll tell you, Gumba is getting really physical, initiating contact with Toppin on his way down the court. Kicks it out to Caden Boozer, who knocks down a three.
Duke is catching Texas Tech in rotation and taking advantage of the Red Raiders with that extra pass.
Watts wants to go one-on-one with Sarr. Wants to back him down.
Gotta watch the shot fake.
Gets it to go. He's got all kinds of game down in the post.
He transferred in from Washington State. Averaged about 14 and 7 there, but loves those backdowns.
Again, coming off a 36-point game against Northern Colorado on Tuesday. Sarr. A pass for Gumba. And a foul called on the Red Raiders. Number 2 on Atwell. Atwell hasn't made a field goal yet, and he's a great three-point shooter, 42% on the season. Texas Tech makes 11 threes per game, Jay, and they're 1 for 9 from three-point range tonight.
Well, they haven't taken as good of threes as they usually do. And Donovan Atwell, his best shots are catch and shoot threes, and Duke hasn't allowed him to catch and shoot. They're making him put it on the deck.
Gumba, a 72% free throw shooter. This is the front end of a 1-and-1.
Dame Sarr is about 6'8", and that size on Christian Anderson is impactful.
Sarr a foul here, and it'll be Anderson at the line when we come back. But Duke, which once trailed by 9, now leads by 7.
Well, Duke in transition has been effective after a Texas Tech miss. Caden Boozer, the point guard Boozer, gets all the way to the rim. And then after the ball goes inside, drawing 2 defenders, Boozer knocks down the 3. A great pass by Patrick Gumba.
Statistically, the best thing Cameron Boozer is doing tonight, guys, he's got 3 assists. They've held him in check for the most part. 1 for 2, 4 points, 3 rebounds. But coming into this game, it was Texas Tech, which had been the better three-point shooting team this season. But as you can see from the numbers, it has been the opposite case here tonight.
Well, Duke, for the most part, has put the clamps on Christian Anderson. He's going to have to get on track. I don't think Texas Tech can win without Christian Anderson putting points on the board. Just threw a foul on Dame Sarr on the last possession. But Dan, to your point about Cameron Boozer, I mean, Duke's got 7 assists in this game. 6 of them are from Boozer and Gumba.
Yeah.
Their best playmakers are their big guys, which is unusual.
Anderson, 1 of 2. Just the 3rd all-time meeting between these 2 programs. Duke has won each of the previous 2. 7 years ago to the day in this building they beat it. As Boozer spins and is fouled. And Duke also victorious in the 2022 Sweet 16 against Texas Tech. Hey, tomorrow night on ESPN, it's a doubleheader in the Bay Area Women's Classic from the Chase Center in San Francisco. It'll be Oregon and Stanford at 6 Eastern, and then number 19 USC and Cal at 8:30 Eastern. You can see the games on ESPN or also on the ESPN app. And that foul that whistle, that was indisputably number 3 on J.T. Toppin.
Well, Duke was smart with Toppin guarding Cameron Boozer. They just went to Boozer at the elbow for an isolation. He faced up and just spun right into J.T. Toppin to pick up that third foul. That was a huge call.
So now their quote-unquote big guys are Lawan Watts, a 6'6" forward, and Leon Horner, a 6'4" wing. Those are the two guys playing in the bottom 2 slots on the free throw. One of those guys is going to have to guard Cam Boozer.
Well, on the offensive end, what Texas Tech needs to do is play 5 out and spread the floor.
Watts driving on Boozer. Lost it, got it back, lays it in. There is no back down in him.
Well, there's that shot fake. Got Cameron Boozer into the air. Thought he could have picked up a foul there.
Watts the high score in the game with a dozen. Boozer gets his own miss. Up and in and one.
There's just no way at that size you're going to be able to stop Cameron Boozer. As soon as he caught the ball, just use that strength to bully his way to the basket. 6'8" and strong against 6'4" just isn't going to work for Texas Tech. And it's not just the initial shot. He's so quick to get his own miss.
And you got to believe every trip down the floor, Semenya picks up a foul. Every trip down the floor for Duke for the last 3:13 of this half with Toppin on the bench, that ball's going inside the Boozer.
No question. If they draw 2 defenders, then you just kick it out. And Duke's been excellent knocking down threes off relocation.
8-point lead Duke. Horner at the line, 1-1 for him. Biggest impact he had in a game this year. Played 18 minutes off the bench against Wyoming a couple of weeks ago. 4 points, 4 rebounds. This is a team, Texas Tech, was ranked 10th in the nation preseason. But again, the multiple injuries they have in the front court have really changed the course of their season to a certain extent. And they hope to get these guys back once they get into conference play. But Jake, conference play in the Big 12 this year is going to be a bear.
And Texas Tech has played a really good schedule. They lost at Illinois in a really close game. Also lost against Arkansas in a really close game. Now Horner's trying to front his throw over the top.
And another foul, so he'll make him earn it on the line. But that ball's going into Boozer every time down.
When you're trying to front, when you're just 6'4", what you really have to do is put great pressure on the ball. If you can get the passer to turn his back, you can make it really difficult. But that's asking a lot for a 6'4" wing, even as strong as Leon Horner is, to guard Cameron Boozer.
6'4", 215, trying to guard 6'9", 250. Seven-point lead for Duke. 3:02 to go here in the half.
If Horner's going to stay on Boozer, he's really got to get lower and use leverage. That's the best he can do. And I'm not sure fronting is the right answer. Well, maybe if you stay behind and try to push him off the lane, you've got more of a chance.
Anderson gets the switch. Brown on him. Now back to Watts. Driving on Caden Boozer. 10 to shoot. Anderson can't get a shot off over Brown and turns it over.
Brown knocked it away from him. His hands are amazing.
Boozer underneath to Brown, who lays it in at the other end.
Boy, this is a really important 2:20 stretch for Texas Tech. They got to stay in this one.
There's been a 19-point swing in this game. The Red Raiders led 9-0. And now Duke's up by 10. Watts, not this time.
And without Toppin in there, 0 offensive rebound opportunities.
Caden Boozer. Evans puts up a 3. And a good job by Horner to hold off Brown and come down with the rebound.
But Brown almost got a hand on that one.
Anderson the drive, lost it, knocked away from behind. Was that Brown again?
Might have been.
Harris inside, and he'll head to the line.
Whether it's a missed shot or a miscue, Duke is getting the ball down court quickly, and it may not be a fast break layup, but it is really putting a lot of pressure on the Texas Tech transition defense.
So at the line, Darren Harris. He is the 9th man in what is a 9-man rotation for the Blue Devils, but he has already played more minutes this year than he played all of last season. Shoots the ball well. Coming off a good game against Lipscomb. Again, a game that Duke trailed even early in the second half. He had 11 points, 2 assists, 2 steals off the bench in that one.
Where Harris has really improved is on the defensive end from last year to this. He's excellent in catch and shoot situations, so you've got to make him bounce it. But he's much more confident out on the floor. You can see it.
And that lead is now up to a dozen, the biggest of the night for the Blue Devils.
Boy, Malik Brown makes it hard just to get a catch in the scoring area. Got to be so worried about his hands.
As it was said at practice today, the Texas Tech practice, he's got the best hands in the country. Can't let him knock it away from you. Watts lays it in with the left, and he is doing everything he can to keep his team in the game.
When he gets a switch, Juwan Watts, his eyes just get bigger. Wow. That's an interesting call. I thought that might have gone on Atwell.
It's an offensive foul on Cam Boozer.
That's interesting.
Well, if they can get a score and a stop, given that they played without Top in the last few minutes, Grant McCaslin might feel okay about things heading into halftime.
That would definitely stop the bleeding.
Anderson can't get by Caden Boozer. Good defense. Atwell inside. Horner reverses it up and in over Boozer.
Boy, what a great recovery by Leon Horner.
He has given them some energetic, much-needed minutes off the bench. Shot clock turned off. Duke can hold.
I think you got to let Cam Boozer touch it.
Here it is. Do they double? Here it comes. And Cam finds Caden. Boozer to Boozer for the bucket. Anderson leaves it short. And the first half comes to a close with Cam Boozer kind of taking over late after J.T. Toppin picked up that third foul. And the Blue Devils taking a 10-point lead into halftime. Early on, it was all Texas Tech. Dame Sarr with 3 threes. Boozer late. Blue Devils by 10. Let's send it out to the studio. Time for the Jeep halftime.
Taking advantage of mismatches, 7 of 13. The key for Texas Tech in the second half. Not only keeping J.T. Toppin on the floor and out of further foul trouble, but their big-time guard, Christian Anderson, has got to get going. He only had 4 points, 1 of 4 from the field in the first half.
It's kind of amazing given that they only made 1 3. Toppin picked up 3 fouls. Anderson was unable to get shots on, that they were only down 10, but now it is 13 after Caleb Foster buries a 3 to open the second half.
You know, for Texas Tech, that's just too easy. You know, Christian Anderson didn't rotate back out with a sense of urgency to really get pressure on that shot, or at least make Caleb Foster think about putting the ball on the deck.
Grant McCaslin has made a change in his starting 5 here in the second half as Watts lays it in. He's got a game-high 16. Tyree Bryan started the game, played just over 3 minutes, did not come back in. And Leon Horner, who checked in later on in the first half, is a starter here in the second half. And he is on Boozer right now. Kameni is open. The assist to Evans, and now 9 made threes for Duke.
Duke is just making the extra pass. So J.T. Toppin had to get out to the wing, and then just a quick swing to Jimenez in the corner for an easy catch and shoot.
Watts will step back, miss the long-range jumper, tipped by Toppin. Duke ball.
Duke playing out of the post, the quick skip and the extra one. It's not just the first pass, it's the second pass that really burns Texas Tech on the rotation, gets them into scramble mode.
Red Raiders would love to get healthy in time for conference play. As we mentioned, the Big 12 is so strong this year. A lay-in for Boozer, and he is getting anything he wants to down to the post right now.
Well, it's such a dilemma, Dan. If you go down and double him, he passes it back out, and Duke's going to get an open three. You keep him one-on-one in the post. He's going against Leon Horner at 6'4".
Yeah.
He just walks him into the middle lane, drop step, and gets to that right hand, and not only makes the bucket, but picks up the foul.
Given the injuries and the personnel that they have, there are really very few answers right now for Texas Tech at the defensive end in terms of dealing with Boozer.
Well, normally they'd have Luke Bamboye, a 6'11" sophomore, who transferred in from VCU, was an excellent defender, was all defensive team in the Atlantic 10, and one of the top shot blockers in the country last year.
They also would have some size with Mariel Aquintock, a 6'11" redshirt freshman, and another player we mentioned earlier on, Josiah Mosley, a transfer from Villanova. He has yet to play this season. All of them out with injuries. And again, hopefully they will get at least a couple of them back before too long. Because in the Big 12, they're going to have to deal with Arizona and Houston and Iowa State and BYU and Kansas and others. Evans misses the three. Gumba is fouled. Is it Toppin?
It is.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was. I think it's Watts.
Well, then they're going to get lucky because he was from the backside.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think the foul went on Watts, and as it is, it's his third.
Offensively, Texas Tech needs more of what they just did, which was that slot pick and roll.
Another foul. This one's Horner. That's 4, right? Yeah, Leon Horner, who hasn't played that many minutes, just picked up his 4th.
They immediately doubled Patrick Gumba when he caught the ball. But it wasn't just a double team to get it out of his hands. They were swiping at it.
Gumba right back to Foster. Too strong off the glass. Can they get Anderson going at the offensive end? Toppin one-on-one with Gumba. Atwell short on the 3. Rebound Evans. Into Boozer for the easy 2. They don't have an answer down there.
Well, Christian Anderson was trying to front him, and Duke intelligently got it to the right angle. They got it to Gumba up top for the dump down.
And Duke starting to pull away, now up by 16.
When Cameron Boozer's in the post, he's always open. You just have to get the ball to the right angle.
Toppin held by Gumba and draws the foul.
You got Anderson fronting, and they just got it to the right angle. He held his position. They throw it right over the top. Really smart by Caleb Foster to relocate the ball to Gumba for that high-low look.
If you had to pick one thing about Cam Boozer that separates him at the offensive end from all of the other great big guys around the country, what would it be?
His passing. He's a big-time passer. He can see over a double team. He never seems to panic when a double team comes to him. And then Duke doesn't just take the shot off his pass. So he probably gets a lot of hockey assists. You know, he passes back out. So he's leading the team, this Duke team in assists at about 4 per game. And I think he's leading him in assists tonight as well. He had 5 assists in that first half. But he's responsible for more assists than that, because when he passes it out, you know, that leads to a second pass that will lead to an open shot.
And then you thought about it. Atwell on him. Malik Brown back into the game for the Blue Devils was his usual outstanding defensive self in the first half. A menu with the fake and the drive blocked from behind, but it's tipped right to Brown, who banks it in.
And Malik Brown, even though he's not a big-time scorer, And he's only averaging about 6 points per game, doesn't take a lot of shots. He's shooting about 75% from the field, but he's such a valuable piece because of his defensive versatility and really defensive brilliance.
A much needed three there for Donovan Atwell and the Red Raiders.
Well, Nick Hemenia turned his head when the ball went inside, just kicked back out. And he couldn't recover, couldn't find Atwell for that catch and shoot.
Hemenia open on the wing. Rebound Watts. Watts has played every second of the game. Atwell and Anderson have as well. 3 Texas Tech players have been in the game for its entirety.
Well, you can't back down Malik Brown because he knocks the ball away from you. He knocked it away from Watts there.
And a kick ball that'll reset the shot clock to 20:30 Eastern time. The #1 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. Boy, Tommy Lloyd's got himself a squad this year. They can beat you so many different ways. They will host San Diego State, and you can see it less than an hour from now on ESPN2. A lot to like about that team.
Arizona's legit. An outstanding offensive rebounding team. They get about 41% of their own misses. Top 10 in efficiency offensively and defensively in the country. And excellent freshmen. Koa Pete, Braden Burries, and then not many guards are having a better season than Jaden Bradley, the transfer from Alabama.
You can see Duke ranked 3rd in the nation. Big 12 teams ranked 1st, 4th, 8th, and 10th. Talk about the ACC a little bit. We talked about the Big 12. North Carolina, boy, that game went right down to the wire. They managed to beat Ohio State by a point. Carolina's only lost once this year. Louisville's got a very good team. Virginia, under Ryan Odom, is ranked right now. What are your thoughts on the differences or the improvements maybe in the ACC from last year to this year?
Vastly improved. I mean, last year was, I think everyone would agree, in the ACC office, a down year for the league. Not so much this year. It's one of the better leagues in the country this year.
Well, I'll tell you, Watts gets A for effort all the time, and he knocks down another little jump hook. He is following up on that 36-point outing. He's got 20 already tonight.
What a pass.
They play on, and Cam Boozer will finish again.
Just a beautiful pocket pass right in the middle of the floor. And that puts both Watts and Toppin in a really bad spot. I think Toppin picked up the foul there.
He did, and it's #4. And Grant McCaslin is going to make the move. With 15:09 to go, Toppin is going to have to come out of this game.
And when Toppin picked up his second foul, one of the things I think it really did was take the starch out of his offensive rebounding. You know, Duke's done a great job on the defensive glass, not allowing a lot of second shot opportunities. And JT Toppin, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, he averages almost 5 offensive rebounds a game. And this one, I think he's only got 1.
Watts picks up his dribble, finds Atwell. Anderson with Sarr on him. Sarr, a very good defender, lots of length. Shot clock's down to 2. And Anderson never is able to get it off over Malik Brown.
And Malik Brown switched off on him. He got that kind of size and the ability to move feet, great hands. And Christian Anderson just couldn't see the basket.
Boy, ask anybody in the Duke program about Malik Brown. He offers so much more value than the numbers would indicate. Cam Boozer to a cutting Sarr. And that's a travel.
When Sarr has been on Christian Anderson with his length and athleticism, he's really made things difficult on the Texas Tech guard. I mean, averaging 19 points a game. He hasn't been able to get anything in this one.
Sarr, a freshman from Italy who has previous pro experience in Spain. Anderson with Cam Boozer switching on to him. A little push there by Anderson to create the space and knock it down.
That little step back, really the only space he's been able to create in the first 27 minutes of this game.
Sars hit 3 of them already tonight. Not this time. And Watts the rebound.
That's a heck of a box out by Lawan Watts on Malik Brown.
Watts chosen preseason as the Big 12 newcomer of the year. There's a foul by Darren Harris.
Well, Christian Anderson, when he got the switch and got Boozer on him, he did give a push off there, but that just little stop and step back move helped him create that space with the momentum of Boozer going toward the baseline.
Now Boozer's going to get a breather. He'll head to the bench. Patrick Gungba the second back in for Duke. From a physical standpoint, you don't get much of a break when you're Texas Tech when a guy like Gungba comes back into the game. Corner 3 will go. It's a 10-2 run right now for Texas Tech, and they've got it down to single digits. And now they've got it back, but not for long. Malik Brown takes it away.
You always have to be aware of where Malik Brown is. Seems like he's not in the play, just knocks it away from Lawan Watts and turns a disadvantage into an advantage. And a potential three-point play. His defensive prowess, I don't think, can be overstated.
And all the momentum was heading towards Texas Tech. A 10-2 run down to single digits. Not only do they give it up and does Duke score, it's also the 4th foul on Watts. So he's got 4. Toppin's got 4.
Teams as much as this year. I mean, it's been great.
Amazing. It's been a great, however many weeks the season has been going on, 7 weeks, let's call it. It's been a great non-conference portion of the season for the sport as a whole because of all of those matchups that you're talking about. Well, can Texas Tech rally again? Had it down to 9. Watts picked up his 4th foul. And Watts has gone to the bench right now. So there's no Toppin and there's no Watts. Nolan Groves is into the game for the first time as Brown erases that one. Texas Tech wants a goaltend, and the official on our side of the court, Chance Moore, blew the whistle and says that's a basket.
It looked to me like it hit the backboard.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's see if it did. You just heard the crowd reaction. Maybe it didn't, although I don't know that that is a definitive angle. Let's look at this one as well.
Nope, he got it first.
Wow.
So they'll probably challenge that.
It. Yeah, you and I were both wrong with the live eye, and this is a challenge forthcoming from John Shire.
Yeah, this one's going to be reevaluated.
How good of a defensive game has Malik Brown had tonight?
He's one of the few players that can really impact the game without scoring. And I think he's got 4 steals in this game. He's going to be credited with a block after this. Jalen Petty running the point on that play so they get Christian Anderson off the ball.
And just such a selfless player as well. Doesn't look to score very often. Very efficient when he does look to score. A good passer as well. Very experienced player.
Yeah, he had a really good game against Florida as well. Had 6 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and got that what turned out to be a game-sealing deflection on Florida's last possession.
And like many programs, the Duke program attracts deflections, and Brown, even though he doesn't play as many minutes as some others, he leads the team in deflections at about 6 per game.
And leads them by far.
So we will assume this basket is coming off the board, but the officials are still at the monitor.
Yeah, so this will be overturned. That was a clean block.
They may be discussing possession, right?
Yeah, it'll go to the possession unless there was clear
Yeah.
possession You know, it looked like Patrick Gungbo was going to get the ball, but unless it's clear possession, it goes to the arrow.
Okay, Chuck Jones over to give us a successful challenge. Take the basket off the board. The reason I laughed is Chuck came over and said, hey, I haven't had a chance to say hello to you guys yet tonight. So take the basket off the board, and because it was clear possession for Patrick Gungba, it is going to remain Duke ball. They will not go to the arrow in terms of judging possession. So 63-51 with 12:53 to go.
Well, Duke's had some nice contributions from his bench in this game. Dame Sarr's come in, done a good job. Darren Harris, Caden Boozer.
8 of the 9 Blue Devils who have played have scored. The only one who hasn't is Isaiah Evans, a starter, who is their second leading scorer on the season. And that's been one of the questions asked about this Duke team at times this year, Jay. As good as they are, do they have that, go-to number 2 guy behind Cam Boozer? And can they be a great team if they don't know who their night in, night out number 2 guy is?
Well, a good way to play is have the go-to guy be the open man. And that's the way they've been through most of the season.
Groves is fouled on the play. Bowl Mania rolls on Monday afternoon. It'll be Washington State and Utah State meeting on the blue turf for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Tune into ESPN Monday at 2 Eastern.
I wonder if there were residual payments to like Richie Saunders' family of BYU, considering his great-grandfather invented the tater tot.
We owe the family as a whole a huge debt of gratitude for inventing the tater tot. And here's a huge play for Christian Anderson with 3 and a chance for 4.
Just off that screen and drop coverage, something we showed a little bit earlier from some of the prior games that Texas Tech has played. And instead of getting a side contest, you just can't foul an excellent jump shooter like Christian Anderson and give him an opportunity like this. Just put late pressure on the shot.
And Boozer back in, Brown to the bench. And in some ways it doesn't feel like it, but it's only an 8-point game with a lot of time left to go. And they're doing this without Toppin and without Watts.
And the key question is, when do you bring Toppin back? But Duke's going to go to Cam Boozer. He's got Groves on him.
Groves, another perimeter guy, a wing. A freshman from Long Lake, Minnesota. The Gatorade Player of the Year in Minnesota last year in high school. Rebound for Anderson, and it's Horner underneath, I believe, of Texas Tech, who got called for the foul.
Got tangled up with Gungba, and Horner saying, look, he grabbed me.
Yep. He is making the same motion that was made back in the first half by Toppin. But eventually Gungba was called for a flagrant 1. Holiday season in New York. Duke by 8 over Texas Tech. Duke by 8, 11:41 to go. The last foul before the timeout was on Leon Horner of Texas Tech. That's number 5 on him. As soon as the foul was called, he started saying to one of the officials, Gungba was holding me. He was hooking me. The similar situation to the first half when the call was overturned and a flagrant one was assessed on Gungba. Now, we don't think any official appeal was requested here by Grant McCaslin, so it stands as the 5th personal on Horner, and he's out of the game.
The officials were looking at it during the timeout, or looking at something. I would assume it's that, but I think the call is going to stand.
And there you can see the motion from Grant McCaslin, what he was doing.
A ton of fouls in this game. Cam Boozer has drawn 7. Gungba's drawn 6.
Gungba with a lob in for Boozer, too far under the basket, but Caden Boozer is open in the corner. Gungba fouled, and that's going to be number 5 on Watts.
Well, they are running out of players. Well, that was a heck of a catch by Cam Boozer before he passed it out to Caden in the corner. That's not much of a foul there. That's an odd call there on Lawan Watts. Well, he had a terrific game. 20 points. Well, that's awfully early to be fouling out of a game.
So 3 injured players and 2 players who have fouled out.
Well, this is the group they're going to have to finish with.
And remember, Toppin's got 4.
This is the guy here with the ball in his hands. Christian Anderson has to take over.
Still just an 8-point game. Anderson, Toppin, Groves open, and an air ball on the corner 3. Shot clock does not reset as the Red Raiders get it back. Petty, 6-point game. I would doubt at any point, even in practice, Grant McCaslin has had this group of 5 on the floor at the same time.
I can't imagine it either.
Cam Boozer going at Toppin. Good help by Anderson, and it's a held ball, and the possession arrow will give it to Tech.
Petty coming off that ball screen. Gungba in drop coverage. He just pulls right up and knocks down the mid-range jumper. And then when Boozer turns his back, turns a terrific job by Christian Anderson of coming down and tying up that ball.
And it looks like the officials were going to give the ball to Duke, that nobody had noticed the possession arrow was headed Texas Tech's way until Grant McCaslin started yelling at everybody, red ball, and then they corrected it. A bucket and a foul for Toppin, and the Red Raiders are right back in it.
Operating out of the screen roll on the right side. Whenever you get JT Toppin in the middle of the floor, he is so difficult to contain on that roll. Opens up to the ball. Now, he is not a great free throw shooter. Shoots under 50% on the season. So free throw blockouts become a big deal.
Gungba hits the floor hard. The ball is loose. The Red Raiders have it. Toppin will kick it out. Groves misses it, but another offensive rebound, this time by Anderson. Boy, what an effort being put forth right now, given everything they are dealing with by Tech. Petty no. Followed by Anderson, and it's a 2-point game.
How about the grit of Texas Tech?
It is a 20-5 run for the Red Raiders to get back within 2.
With all of the foul trouble, Lawan Watts fouls out with 11 minutes to go. Nobody boxes out Christian Anderson. He just gets right around Jimena, gets to the offensive board. Well, I think Texas Tech in the last 2 possessions has had more offensive rebounds they've had the entire game.
Three injured players, 2 players who have fouled out, and still they have made this big run with combinations they probably never used before to get right back into it against the undefeated and 3rd-ranked Duke Blue Devils.
Duke is in the bonus the remainder of regulation. So Texas Tech can't afford to pick up common fouls, but they do have to get pressure on the ball. Just try to take away the vision of the passer. Otherwise, Duke's going to be looking to get the ball inside to Cameron Boozer at every opportunity.
Still 10 minutes to go here in this one.
And this is a game where I'm not sure Isaiah Evans even scored in this game.
He has not. And again, he is the 2nd leading scorer for Duke on the season at better than 12 a game. He's only attempted 3 shots. Groves is on Boozer. They're keeping Toppin away from him. He's on Brown. Evans now has scored.
Just a little fade screen and then a re-screen to bring Evans back to the ball, and he turned the corner.
Anderson gets a couple of screens. Short on the 3. Evans the rebound. Fouled by Groves.
Those are the kind of fouls that Texas Tech can't pick up. And give Groves credit for playing hard and going after the ball. But fouling there puts an 87% free throw shooter at the line.
1-1 for Isaiah Evans. Misses the front end as Boozer and Toppin both went crashing to the court.
Well, Texas Tech dodged one right there.
Anderson again around a couple of screens. Toppin surrounded in the paint, just couldn't get it up over the rim enough to knock it down, and it's still a 4-point game.
Well, Malik Brown did a really good job of keeping his body between Toppin and the basket. Just make him make a tough one over him.
Duke fans now making the noise. Probably about 3/4 Duke fans here at the Garden tonight. Evans puts it on the deck again, scoops it up, and draws another foul. And I think it's Groves again.
Evans, after that last timeout, Duke ran something for him off that fade screen, re-screen action for him to get his first bucket. But he's been much more aggressive since that last timeout.
This one knocks down the first.
Tough box out assignment for Nolan Groves, having to go against Malik Brown, because you got to have 2 guys pinching on Cameron Boozer on the opposite side.
Made them both. The lead is 6 for the Blue Devils. Four guards and Toppin on the floor for the Red Raiders. Petty finds his seam. Couldn't finish it. Do you think at any point today Nolan Groves thought he would be covering Cam Boozer for several minutes on end in this game?
Only in a nightmare he had last night.
Extra pass from Foster to Jimenez. Good closeout by Anderson. Shot clock at 4. Foster. Yes.
Well, that's a big bucket by Caleb Foster.
Throws the screen to try to free up Anderson. Into the paint, steps back and hits. Boy, he's crafty.
Well, he's so good at getting a defender on his hip and unbelievably patient off pick and roll situations.
Keeping them within striking range. Down by 6, 7.5 to go. Boozer. Long strides into the paint and a chance for 3.
Well, Toppin was there. Did he pick that one up?
A timeout on the floor. Cam Boozer will be heading to the line looking for a 3-point play.
Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Here are tonight's star stories brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Lawadawat's 20 points, but he has fouled out. J.T. Toppin has 4 fouls. He's had to go to the bench a couple of times. Texas Tech so short on players, but staying in this game, Jay, trailing Duke by 8 points right now, 71-63. They had it down to 2 a couple of minutes ago.
Well, Texas Tech has shown a ton of grit in this game with all the adversity they've faced with fouls, injuries. But Duke, for the contributions the Blue Devils have received from the bench. I mean, Caden Boozer has 8 points, a couple of assists. Malik Brown, 7 points, 4 steals, and a block. And then Dame Sarr, most of his damage was done in the first half. He has 9 points. Then Darren Harris put up 5 off the bench. That's really good bench production.
The 4 steals, a season high for Malik Brown. Cam Boozer at the line and completes the 3-point play. This ball pressure by Foster on Anderson. Now Brown switches onto him. That last foul before the break, by the way, was on Donovan Atwell of Texas Tech. Anderson now trying to shake Jimenez. Now Boozer, he has seen 4 different defenders in this possession. Toppin surrounded and turns it over.
Toppin hesitated and Duke swarmed to the ball with active hands.
Duke patient at the offensive end. Jimenez won't force. Into Boozer. Kick to Foster. Wide open. And Boozer took it away from Toppin to lay it in.
Well, Toppin had that ball in his hands and Boozer just took it away from him.
And that is not the kind of thing that happens to J.T. Toppin very often. All of a sudden, it's an 11-2 run for Duke. Again, after Texas Tech had gotten within 2. Anderson with a long 3.
Well, that's what Texas Tech needs, is for Christian Anderson to just go crazy here. He's got a green light and he can take advantage of it.
He's up to 17.
There's that action with Evans setting a ball screen for Boozer.
A steal by Anderson. Oh, and Boozer gets back to take it away. And good defense there by Groves. Didn't foul Brown and bothered him enough. Anderson again. Back-to-back threes for Christian Anderson, who's now got 20.
What a turnaround. Looked like Duke had a layup, then they give up a 3.
16 of Anderson's 20 here in the second half. Foster spins back to Cam Boozer. Jimenez. And Texas Tech has it again. Boy, some of these guys have to be exhausted. Again, Anderson and Atwell have played every second. And Toppin has not missed all that much. And it's been rugged, tough basketball because he's been seeing a lot of different defenders tonight. Evans the switch on to Anderson with a shot clock inside 10.
Now they got a switch with Boozer on Anderson.
Ball's loose. Shot clock at 3. The force. Got it on the rim. Toppin lays it in, and it's a 3-point game.
How did Anderson get that shot off?
This is pretty remarkable stuff, again, given who is not playing right now for Texas Tech, how thin they are. And Anderson has keyed an 8-0 run to make it a 3-point game.
There is zero give up with this Texas Tech team. Off balance, throws it up.
All sorts of different scenarios and outcomes, but I don't know that anybody could have predicted what has gone on tonight. All of the problems that Texas Tech has had with foul trouble and just trying to keep any semblance of size on the floor, yet they will not give up, refuse to go away, and they're back within 3.
And really, this is about defensive stops and grabbing defensive rebounds right now for Texas Tech. They're at a size disadvantage, especially with Gungba and Boozer on the floor at the same time. So expect Duke to go inside where their big guys have drawn fouls, and they've also been able to pass the ball out of the post.
Playing a 6'5" freshman in Nolan Groves, who does not play very much. And not only is he playing big minutes, he's guarding Cam Boozer every time down the floor. Harris forces up a 3. Anderson trying to corral it, and Toppin will.
They got to get the ball in Anderson's hands here.
Inside 4 minutes in a 1-possession game. Toppin can't get by Gungba. Petty with Gungba on him. Does he want to drive him? Into Toppin. Too strong off the glass. Gungba the rebound.
Couldn't really corral it with that left hand when he made a difficult catch.
Caden Boozer floats it up and in.
Really smart attack by Caden Boozer in transition. Grant McCaslin not very happy with Jalen Petty after that last decision that he made on the offensive end. This is where Texas Tech wants the ball, with Christian Anderson making decisions.
Gungba switches onto him. Deep 3. Got it! And it's a 2-point game. What a second half for Christian Anderson.
He can go off on you, and he's proving it in the second half.
Boy, right now Duke probably fearing him more than Toppin the way that this game has developed. 2:45 to go. 5 on the shot clock. Foster spinning into the paint, and they do not get it off.
Well, Christian Anderson has been taking advantage of switches. He's got Patrick Gungba on him. Gumba's given him a little bit of space, but still a great contest on a deep 3. And Lawan Watts, who fouled out with over 11 minutes to go in regulation with 20 points, is loving it from the bench.
Now 19 in the second half for Anderson. They can tie or take the lead on this trip. They'll tie it. Toppin from Anderson. And somehow this game is knotted up at 76. This is pretty remarkable stuff, Jay. Boozer. Fouled. Either Groves or Petty reaching in. It'll be Petty to send Boozer to the line. Another big play by Anderson, this time finding Toppin.
You spend a little bit too much time on the ball. Patrick Gungba in that drop coverage. And that middle screen roll with Christian Anderson and JT Toppin so difficult to deal with.
Another missed free throw, this time by Boozer, as Gungba sits and Brown returns.
That's got to be 10 or 11 misses that Duke's had.
That's 11. I've got him at 15 for 26 on the night, just 58%. 1 of 2, 1-point game with just over 2 minutes to go in regulation. Again, it starts with Anderson.
Not a bad matchup for Duke with Malik Brown on Anderson.
And Grant McCaslin could feel nothing was happening. Nothing good was going on. So he will use a timeout. Gives us a chance to show those of you who may have joined us late what a second half it's been for Anderson.
I think he only had 4 points at halftime. But Christian Anderson has been money in this second half. So good in screen roll situations. The step back when he got the switch with Patrick Dumba, 6'11", guarding him. And still great pressure on it. That's just great offense beating good defense.
They trailed by as many as 17 points. That was 3.5 minutes into the second half. They've lost 2 players who have fouled out. They have 3 players who are injured, so they have virtually no size. It's Toppin and 4 guards. We also haven't seen Tyree Bryant since the first 3-4 minutes of the game. Don't know if maybe he's got something physical going on as well. But Grant McCaslin is basically using just about, Jay, the only players that he's got right now.
Yeah, they're down to the end of the rotation. But those 5 guys on the floor have fought like crazy. So impressive.
Looking for the lead on this trip. Toppin trying to back down Boozer. Easier said than done. Top turnaround. Boy, maybe not what he thought he wanted to do, but he knocks it down, and the Red Raiders have the lead.
Well, we are just saying big-time play after big-time play.
1:20 to go. Evans has it knocked away. Anderson in transition. Goes!
Duke ran the same play. Oh, here's JT Toppin first, backing down Boozer, loses the ball a bit, and then what a terrific turnaround jumper with the left hand. And how about this finish by Christian Anderson? How did he get that ball to go? That touched every bit of the rim.
And he completes the 3-point play. They've gone from 17 down to up by 4 here in the second half.
You got to go to Cam Boozer here. They isolate him on the elbow.
He kicks it out. The 3. Caden Boozer from the corner. And it's a 1-point game.
He just has the ability to make the right play.
Anderson spins out of harm's way. We are into the final minute of regulation here in New York. The Red Raiders with the ball and a 1-point lead.
They're not going to bring Toppin up to set the screen because he's being guarded by Malik Brown.
Anderson almost loses his footing. Now he does. And it's Duke basketball. He slipped not once, but twice. He says it was deflected out of bounds, but it is Duke ball with 30 seconds to go.
Just couldn't corral it, tried to get it to Groves.
And it all may come down to this here, with the game clock and the shot clock virtually bang on. Cam Boozer. And a foul is called. It will be Groves, his 3rd.
Went back to the same action of getting him the ball on the elbow so he could just drive to his right against the smaller Nolan Groves. Almost got that to go.
2 shots for Boozer. Each team with 1 timeout remaining.
This is where a free throw blockout is a huge play.
Boozer now 8 for 13 from the line in this game. And Grant McCaslin is going to use his last timeout right here with 18.3 to go. Boy, what a riveting game this has been.
We have seen some big-time performances by outstanding players. A 17-point deficit in this second half. Erased. And against all odds. Like, it seemed like this game was going to get away from Texas Tech, especially when Lawan Watts fouled out.
And they've gotten a very good game from J.T. Toppin, but not a monster, not a 30-point game. And he's had a couple of those against ranked teams this year. He has certainly been very good. 19 points, 10 rebounds. It's been Anderson in the second half. It was Watts early before he fouled out. But boy, the way that they have dug in at the defensive end is really just as big a part of the story.
They've really done a nice job in the second half in rotations, getting pressure on shooters, forcing turnovers. And then the emergence in the second half of Christian Anderson and his greatness has put Texas Tech in a great position to have a chance to steal this one.
Boozer missed the first, then the timeout, now the second free throw. Got that one to tie it up. Shot clock turned off. No timeouts for the Red Raiders. Looking to win it right here. Foster guarding Anderson. Down to 8 seconds. Anderson trying to drive it. And a foul is called on Foster with 3.4 to go.
Foster was really leaning in to Christian Anderson. See him, he's really getting into his body, and Anderson's smart enough to go up with that shot. Not sure whether this is going to be called a shooting foul, but it should be.
Whatever the discussion was is over quickly. 3.4 to go.
Anderson shoots about 75% from the foul line.
Boy, and now they're doing a little dance in the lane. Toppin and Boozer going back and forth. Who's on which side? Who do I block out? 1-and-1 here. Coming for Anderson. Makes it. Duke does have one timeout remaining. One of two. Tipped. Evans has it. And a timeout called with 1.9 to go.
What an amazing turn of events.
And John Shire is saying to the officials, go look at that clock. Too much time came off. They will. They always do in this kind of a situation this late in the game. We'll get a look at it here to see if any time should be put back on. Maybe 2 or 3/10, maybe 2.2.
Yeah, might be 2.2, maybe.
And this would be for Texas Tech. Even if they had not had all the foul trouble that they've had, you know, given the injuries, being undermanned, playing an undefeated team in a building where Duke has at least 3/4 of the fans here, but then you add in all the foul trouble and the 17-point deficit, what a win this would be for the Red Raiders if they can hang on.
You know, Dan, it's been a remarkable performance by Texas Tech. With all the adversity the Red Raiders have faced in this game, the grit and toughness and togetherness this team has shown, just making this a competitive game, let alone a tremendous opportunity to win this, is beyond impressive.
It felt like it was going to get out of hand early in the second half, but they wouldn't let it. And there is no extra time, it doesn't look like, being put on the clock. So as of now, it will be 1.9 seconds. And it'll be Caleb Foster who's going to inbound it for Duke.
I'm a little surprised that Texas Tech's not putting pressure on this pass.
They've got 2 players in the vicinity of Evans right now, feeling that he is the most likely, the guy that John Shire has drawn up a play for.
And JT Toppin.
Oh, and now we're being told by Chance Ward, one of the officials, the clock started late. So not only is there no extra time, it's down to 1.6. Here we go. Foster gets it in. Boozer puts it up. And Texas Tech wins it. The Red Raiders come up with one of the most remarkable victories for any program this season as they beat Duke 82-81 here at the Garden.